Hey, what's up everybody, BDL44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so as I said, I wanted to do another video on that game because there was a lot of things that went on in that game that I just kind of was a blur to me, I guess you can say, because I was so emotionally invested in the game. It was more so about my emotions and hoping and wishing and watching and enjoying, but there were some things to break down that I didn't break down in the video last night. For one, let's correct the mistake. So I know where I messed up on the field goals. The Golden State Warriors had 40 out of 86 field goals made. That brought them to 46.5%, I believe that is. And the Lakers had one less field goal made at 39 out of 86 same attempts at 45%. So that makes a lot more sense, because last night I had Golden State making 48 attempts out of 86 and then bringing them to 46%, and then I looked at ours and I'm like, nah, that doesn't add up. So if you guys are wondering what I was going through there, that's exactly what it was. It's 40. I had 48. So that's what it is for Golden State's field goal makes. Excuse me, you know, Lonnie Walker is the guy that's the hero of the night, obviously, and we sing his praises this morning. We just could not have won that game without him, and the fact that he stayed ready, kept his poise all season long with the different ebbs and flows of the season and his minutes being so sporadic and ultimately getting benched. But he kept on working. We're hearing about it, you know. The stories are coming out of how he just kept his head down and kept working and was showing so much progress behind the scenes that they just said, you know what, this guy is sharp and ready to go. And that's what happens when you keep, you know, the practice of what it is you're doing on the forefront of your mind, not really worried about things outside of your control. Just maintain your stride and keep the excellence that you're aiming for, you know, in regards to what it is that you're trying to see yourself become. Be the motive and the drive, not necessarily what other people doing, your coach giving you minutes or the team signing you or whatever. Don't worry about none of that. No matter where you're at, whether you're on this team, that team, or the third team, you gotta be self-motivated and understand what it is that's gonna ultimately give you the eyes that people are going to be like, oh, okay, it's going to be that hard work ethic. It's going to be you keeping your head down when you have a reason to complain and not complaining, but taking it out on the gym, taking it out on your game, taking it out on your progression. So that's what I wanted to say, that Lonnie just was a fantastic inspiration and example for all of the young players and all of the guys who are role players out there who are not getting necessarily what they feel they should, but have proven, especially those who have proven in certain situations. Maybe your coach is just trying to save you for the big moment. You know what I mean? And maybe that's something that's frustrating to go through, but once the big moment comes, everybody can show you exactly how much they appreciate you, and then from there, hopefully you can start getting the respect and recognition that the excellence that you've put in would demand. So that's what I got to say about Lonnie. I'm just really happy that ultimately he was given this opportunity and that it worked out so well. Every jump shot he took was just falling in the fourth quarter after being set for so long. He did show us glimpses in garbage time, which is why garbage time is so important, because we can see those glimpses. Otherwise, we don't see them. And that's what was happening. We were playing a lot of close games throughout the regular season, so we couldn't get our bench out there to really prove themselves. But these guys are working. And I'm telling you, there's more where that came from. This is why I scream we're the deepest team in the entire league, because I'm not absent to the understanding that Lonnie can do this and more. And I'm not absent to the idea that we have a couple other guys as well who we haven't called on, who can also have big moments just like Lonnie did, or maybe do unprecedented things like Lonnie did. So, you know, we love that we were able to break the mold. You know, I was listening to somebody was talking about the Lakers right now. I was just listening to them mentioning in regards to the Lakers breaking certain tendencies. You know, if you lose the first quarter against Golden State, you automatically lose. You know, in certain situations, that's kind of how it goes against the Golden State Warriors for us. We broke that mold. Same thing goes for the third quarter. If we usually lose that quarter, we don't win the game. We broke that mold. Obviously, Anthony Davis's scoring droughts on even games, we broke that. So it's just a lot of stuff that the Lakers were able to overcome. You know, the idea, just my own personal thing, I didn't think we could win this series without averaging probably about 7 or 8 blocks in each game. We only had 1 block, still won. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of stuff that really worked out. The Lakers were 100% from free throw line. One was, 20 attempts. That's absolutely phenomenal for us as a team. And for them to have more assists than us, 8 more assists than us, more steals than us, more blocks than us, more fast break points, more points in the paint. I mean, they just beat us in every possible way, except for in the fourth quarter when we called on that X factor that nobody's expecting and throws an entirely different monkey wrench in the tendencies based on the fact that he hadn't been a part of them. And so that's why you keep a guy like that in the tuck, because all these different tendencies that your team and their team is based on are based on things that are not being used when you go to that player in that random moment. So this is a game the Golden State Warriors would love to have back, but to be honest with you, we just caught them off guard, just like they caught us off guard with the Kevon Looney sitting and him getting ill, and ultimately with them going with Green. We got able to catch them off guard in the fourth quarter with Lonnie Walker in a game where they are now, because of losing it, are forced to try to fight for their lives for the rest of the series. And so this is fantastic. As a Laker fan, we love that our team was ultimately able to show that they're a good team, a really good team, by winning a game that otherwise they weren't supposed to win. This is the sign that your team can win it big, because they can overcome games like this, call on somebody who will be unsung and will answer the bell. These are the type of things that not every team can do. These are the type of things that other teams are trying to strive to find on their team and are failing to. And that's why I think we're going to win the championship right now. After winning that game, we have a long way to go. But I do favor us in every series from here on out based on some of the things that I'm seeing in the overall depth of our team versus the rest of the teams that are out there, which I just honestly don't think match up with us in a 7-game series. I really genuinely don't. Not a single one of them. So that's me being a little cocky, but honestly, I don't see it. We just are constructed to be able to defend everything, and we're deeper than everybody. And as long as we're healthy, because health is everything, but as long as we're healthy, this team is in a position to really capture each and every win for the rest of these playoffs. If you ask me, they're in a position to be favored to do good things. Now, there are still holes in our situation. We have to guard the perimeter better. Our pick and roll defense isn't really working in this series. Steph Curry is going crazy, if we haven't noticed, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. I didn't really get into the opponents very much last night, but we can jump into their numbers right now. So Kevon Looney, he's at the top of the list with 11 minutes. They've just removed him from the series, and he's a +7, 4 points, 3 rebounds, 2 out of 2 field goals. I honestly don't know if them doing that didn't help us in the long run. When you have these philosophies about how to attack a team, you almost forget that there's a million different ways to do so. And they went with the lesser Kevon Looney route. I guess half of that's because he's ill, but I just don't know. I don't really know. When you remove a guy like Jordan Poole, you remove a guy like Kevon Looney, you are really removing a lot of talent from the floor. Now, I know they haven't had an opportunity to put the ball in Jordan Poole's hands, and when they do, bad things have happened. But I don't know if what I'm seeing here is just not a byproduct of them not using him correctly. No points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, a -6, 0 for 4 from the field, 0 for 2 from the 3. There's just no rhythm. A player like that's got to get in rhythm. A player like that got to be able to do things in fast break and be able to fly around. He should be playing with younger players, man. I do encourage them to try to find a way to move his contract, man. Or just do what it is that nobody expects you to do, and that's move on from some of the older pieces so that he can be brought those pieces to him. But Golden State probably is in a different way of doing things, so they just got to rectify that mistake by moving on from Jordan Poole and accept the fact that they're not going to get cost for him because he's overpaid for what it is he's proven. And in these playoffs, playing as bad as he is, it may be actually difficult to move him, to be honest with you. So, I don't know. I think Jordan Poole's heavily talented, but if you don't put the ball in his hands and let that man get the 30 and 40 attempts that he's ultimately going to want throughout the course of his career so he can turn into a Steph-like character his dang self, then you just got an overpaid role player, basically. So, I know he's better than that, but this is absolutely ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. So, I got a lot of criticism about the opponent, even though we're still in these series with them. And I've seen them come out of some terrible situations, but this is a hole, to me, that looks more deep than any hole they've been in over the last couple of years. This just looks And I'm not saying that because I'm on the other side of it as a fan. I'm saying that because I'm looking at how this is shaping up, and it's just panning out the way I thought it would. Steph Curry was absolutely phenomenal, but it's all relying upon him being able to hit shots on the road. And sometimes those shots ain't gonna fall in other arenas. And he went for 3 for 14 attempts from behind the arc. I like the attempts because he's Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never gonna say Steph Curry shouldn't shoot 14 threes. But even he needs to understand where in a game where your team is finally cracked open the safe, essentially, with points in the paint, having 52 points in the paint, and close to out rebounding us, only down 2 rebounds in the situation, you got to continue to attack in the paint. That's where your bread is butter. That's where you're finding success. You're settling for long shots when it's not necessary, and we're not. It's that simple. When you turn them 3-point shots that you're turning, them 14 3-point shots, you only hit 3 of them. They turn into transition buckets, and we're attacking in the paint. We're attacking. We only attempted 25 threes. 25 to their 41. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Neither of these teams shot very well. 6 of 25, 12 of 41. But when you're finding a way in, is what I'm saying to you with the Golden State Warriors. You only want to attempt that many threes when you're not scoring in the paint on the road. You know what I mean? In a situation like this. Not necessarily when you find yourself against a team that you normally have trouble scoring in the paint with, and then find a way to get in there that night. It's just crazy to me how they lost this game. And I know they're going to look at the free throws, the 20 at 20. I know they're going to look at that versus their 12. When you consider they got in the paint more than us, redundantly speaking, you understand why they may think they should be getting to the line more. But I don't know. I don't know. Other than to say we're 1 game away from winning the series, and we're really excited about that. 8 steals, 1 block. Golden State Warriors play, better defense than the Lakers. They had 9 steals, 2 blocks. So they were able to force their will upon us. I don't think that their adjustments necessarily didn't work, and that's what I think is there to see. I'm not going to say it concerns me now with a 3-1 lead, but I think we're still in a position to have to take this thing one game at a time, just like they do, to close it out. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I expect to lose Game 5, but what I'm saying is them shots, they're going to fall at home. Steph is going to play even better. Clay is going to get back to his thing. You know what I mean? And so that's really what it comes down to. I think this is one of those games where you love that you won it, but you probably weren't supposed to be honest with you. If you're a Laker fan, you probably, in the grand scheme of things, you probably need to prove that you can do this again in order to get out of this series. And that's, again, redundantly speaking, but the thought is very, very specific to say, we ain't really beat them yet. we ain't proven that we can stop what they're doing, is essentially what I'm saying to you. We've proven that we can get lucky and they'll miss shots, and we'll be able to respond with our effort. But after listening to Jason Timpf right now, because this is kind of who I've been listening to for the last hour or so, I just understand that schematically, with the X's and O's, we're not quite out of the woods, even though we're extremely favorable in the series lead. In other words, we have to take every possession seriously. Getting out of this series is going to be something that's not going to be easy to do, and we should still be on high alert for all the different things that we've been on high alert about in regards to this series. We don't get to win the series with 3 wins. You have to beat the champs. And I love the effort that we've been given. So it is challenge to ask the team to give more. But I do believe that you're going to have to give more in order to win the series. So if you're tired, don't be, because you better get back out there and defeat this team. And less basketball is best basketball for us. As we know, we don't want to extend this series. We don't want to let the next team off the hook in regards to the rest that they will get from us losing. So let's put that pressure on them. And that's something that needs to be kind of revisited in a way, because that's kind of what's going on here. We've benefited from the fact that the Golden State Warriors played a 7-game series with the Sacramento Kings. If they could have found a way to have early success in that series, I think this series would be a lot better for them because they'd have more energy to throw at us. Now, some could say they're in better rhythm because they played more ball, but as you can see, it ain't translate. What they need is guys to play better. And what I see is a Klay Thompson that can't get it together and probably has tired legs. 9 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 turnover, +2, 3 of 11 field, 3 of 9 threes. So it's like he's coming and going, and that going is leading to us being successful. It's just like I said about, it's ironic because it flips on the other end. It's like when I was talking about Anthony Davis in game 2, I'm like, look, if you're going to play this poorly, you know what that means? That means Klay Thompson is going for 8 threes. That's what that means. And I tell Klay Thompson the same thing. When you're not going to shoot well, do you know what that means? That means Anthony Davis is blocking the hell out of your old team. So it's like, even though we only got 1 block in the game, that's not the point. The point is, if one of these super guys ain't imposing a will, the other on the other side is definitely making up for what you're not doing and beating you because of it. And that's really what the name of this series has been for us. We've been able to capitalize on cold performances from Klay, and Steph has had a fantastic series, but he's had moments where he didn't hit shots as well, including in this one where I know he wants them 14 back. You know what? As I look at the opponent's stats, I just say, man, Moses Moody is really gaining a lot of respect on this channel, man. I have really, really been highly impressed with Moses Moody. That's what the secret about all this is, in the presence of Golden State struggling and all this other crap. Moses Moody has been fantastic on both sides of the floor in every game he's played in. And if they would have kept him on the floor for maximum minutes tonight, we would have had a lot more trouble, a whole lot more trouble. And so, as I look out on different players that I want to see maybe put on purple and gold down the road, Moses Moody is somebody that I'd love to see put on purple and gold down the road. This is a very, very, very talented two-way guy. And he gives me Bonzi Wells vibes. Even though Bonzi was a physical guy, a lot of y'all ain't going to remember Bonzi Wells. He played for the Blazers, gave us hell. And I think he played for us too. I think we went and got Bonzi one year. I'm pretty certain. I don't remember. But whatever. Nevertheless, I don't think so. I don't remember. Anyway. But nevertheless, that's who he kind of reminds me of, a two-way guy who can hit shots. Definitely a nice three-point shooter. Just he has that type of vibe to me. Strong guy, active hands. Can rebound, and he's just going to get better and better and better and better. So I think the Golden State Warriors need to consider if they have the role for him, because at the end of the day, I like Jordan Poole, Moses Moody going forward, Andrew Wiggins. You know what I mean? These are players I'd love to have on my team. So the Golden State Warriors have a nice crop of young players even now. Kevon Looney, Moody, Poole, Dante, Wiggins, GP. These are all nice players to keep. The problem is they're still very much married to their core, and of course we talk about that core not necessarily fitting with these kids. They need other things. So I think it's a chance they move Moody based on the fact that he could turn into a much bigger player potentially than the role they have for him, and so maybe it makes sense to try to move him to a team that believes that, that kind of thing, because he's still a lottery pick. He's got an NBA championship attached to his name now, so it's a lot of stuff that just makes you feel like you can pay for Moody, and seeing what he's doing in these limited minutes in the playoffs makes me excited about him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure other close paying attention scouts are as well, because that dude ain't been bad at all. He's been really good in this series. So that's one thing that needs to be said. Also, GP2's efficiency. The Lakers need to do something about that. There's 2 games in a row where he shot over 50% from the field. Tonight, or last night rather, it was 7 or 9 from the field, 1 or 2 from the three. He's not missing. He ain't missing the last game either. So basically, we need to be aware that GP2's scoring efficiency is up. And that's yet another player that if Steve Kerr decided to lean into more, probably would have better production. And see, that's really what it is, man. You just keep seeing this all over the playoffs, to be honest with you, except for here in LA, and even to a degree us too, where coaches are just picking the wrong dudes to lean into. That's what I see. I personally think they need more Moody, more GP, more Wiggins, more Looney, based on what it is that the efficiency has shown me from night to night in this series. Steph is obviously a mainstay, but Klay's kind of like, you know what I mean? I'd have probably given him a little less minutes. It's like they're trying to shave Poole down. Maybe they need to shave Klay down with the bad efficiency there. I don't know. Wiggins had 17, 4, 1, and 3 on 3 turnovers, a -7. So for them, they just needed Wiggins to play a little better. 6 of 14. See, his efficiency wasn't there. 2 of 6 from behind the arc. So that's really what it was. You know, just shooting too many threes on a night where Klay Thompson's 3 of 9 and Steph is 3 of 14 from behind the arc. They really couldn't afford for Wiggins to brick 4 threes. You see what I'm saying? So that's what the numbers are telling me. It's just, once again, this 3-point shooting team shooting too many threes. And so, with Poole not being able to contribute at all, but 3 assists and 2 rebounds, or 3 rebounds, 2 assists, you're just not going to get very far. You know, you're not going to get very far. Donte DiVincenzo had 10 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover, -1, 4 of 6 from the field, 2 of 4 from the 3. So there goes another very efficient player that Steve Kerr just did not identify could really help him. Only gave him 15 minutes. Boy scored like crazy. These are the dudes that are balling for you. Moses Moody and Donte DiVincenzo and GP. They barely missed. They barely missed. And you know what the Golden State Warriors are doing? Shooting threes. Shooting threes. They remind me of us earlier in the season when we were doing stuff we had no business doing, when we had other options. They remind me of themselves last year when I was studying them in the finals, when they were trying to lean into these older guys and getting their butts whooped by the Celtics because they wouldn't just give more credence to the other guys who were actually beating them. GP, Wiggins, etc. You know, you saw this with the Lakers last year when we dumbed it down, not playing Dwight Howard and running small ball and then getting our butts kicked at the rim every night. It's like there are always other options you can use. Tweak something, call a guy up here, give yourself a... But these teams just are married to what they want to do. They're married to their systems. They got their mindset on, you know, justifying certain contracts, so they got to play certain guys or what have you. And it just turns into a jambalaya of bullcrap. Minutes mentality, you know, nonsense. Klay Thompson didn't need 41 minutes on a night like this. You know what I'm saying? Donte DiVincenzo needed about 30 minutes in that situation. So it's like these are the things that Steve Kerr has done. And you know, you have faith in Steve Kerr because you've seen him overcome these mistakes. But I'm telling you, throughout the course of watching this team, they kind of do this stuff all the time. Even in the playoffs in the past, when they won championships, they kind of had other things they could have didn't do it, lost some games in the playoffs. So this is one of those, man. This is one of those. I just genuinely think if you look at the stats, some of their role players are just better bets to fight us. And I told y'all in the beginning of the series that I thought that they were going to try to run around and shoot a bunch of threes. I didn't give them the best chance to win. The best chance they had to win against us was their other guys. I said that in the game one pregame. Looney, GP, Wiggins, Draymond, that gives them the size to really mess with us, not the stuff that they ultimately must live and die with based on who they are, the Golden State Warriors. So that's really what it is, man. You got to lean into athleticism, strengths, and rebounding. If you're going to try to defeat this Los Angeles Lakers team, you can't try to outshoot us because we're not shooting too much. You're going to be out there shooting by yourself, and we're going to be laying the ball up. So it's like if you don't do something to stop that paint, if you don't do something to combat this defense, then you don't have anything. And so that's what I know. They went about it the wrong way. If they could start the series over, I'm pretty sure they would probably do a little more of that stuff. And we need to be ready for them to do more of that stuff in Game 3 with the intention of trying to beat us 3 straight times. If they don't make the adjustment, they're leaning on shot making, and that hasn't worked out for them. You know what I mean? They have to win again in our building, and that also hasn't worked out for them. So I think the Lakers are in a firm position to just be poised to wait to see what they're going to do. And if they don't do anything, then we just go back out there with AD and Bron and our guys and finish them off. Straight up. Just finish them off. So that's where my head is, man. I'm excited. I'm excited about the opportunity, but I also understand that we're not out of this series yet. We must beat these dudes. We got to bring the intensity necessary. We got to bring the focus necessary when we can't get mentally fatigued by the idea of being able to just kind of waltz into this game a little bit and walk out of here with a victory. It just will never ever be that way against the Golden State Warriors. If you have that attitude, you're going to lose Game 5, you're going to lose Game 6 and Game 7. That's the reality of it. They can beat you each and every night. You don't try hard enough. That's the reality of it. You could try hard enough and still lose to these guys. So you know you better try hard enough. And so that's what we're asking for, effort. It's easy to start getting relaxed. Our team has the tendency of getting relaxed in these situations, and we want to acknowledge that. We tend to decompress. We tend to take our foot off the gas. We tend to feel like we have a 3-game cushion to win the series, but that's just the wrong attitude to take against an NBA champion like this. That's the wrong way to look at it when you have potentially the altitude to go into in the next series. It's the wrong way to look at it when you're old and you need rest for LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So that's what it is. We need to finish this thing off as early as possible, and that means in 5, in case anyone is confused by what I'm trying to say. Austin Reaves has been good in this game, not necessarily in this series, but like I said, in game 3, he's shaking off the rust slowly but surely. The 3-point shot looked great at the end of game 3, as I told you guys, in garbage time, and then leading into game 4, he was able to shoot 50% from behind the arc. I think the slump is over. I think the slump is over for Austin. I think Austin has adjusted to the defense well, and I don't think he's going to struggle as much going forward as he has in the first couple of games of this series. I don't think so. So get ready for a big Austin Reaves game 5. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for 30. DS, welcome back. Again, a plus 14. We want to just acknowledge how unsung with stuff he was doing out there, even though he had that behind-the-back pass. It was just so damn terrible. Ultimately, he was doing some good things, too. And we take the good with the bad with DS and really appreciate the 35 minutes he put in and the efficiency with the 5 and 9. And as we said, D'Lo had a bad shooting night, but overall he was a -3. It wasn't the worst thing in the world. He didn't turn the ball over, and really I commend him for how well he was playing defense in that first half, particularly if you go back to my halftime video. I was giving him credit for some of the stuff he was doing defensively, so it wasn't all bad for D'Lo. It was just an awful shooting night, and we need him to not shoot this bad. 1 for 10 from the field, 0 for 4 from the 3. We need him not to shoot that bad now. It really catered to why the Golden State Warriors were kicking our butts for a good portion of this basketball game. If he's better, we are better. And so that's one thing we're looking at there. And, you know, everything else is just guys' minutes being limited. Vando, Rui, and Winion didn't play very much. Still want to see Rui out there, but I don't want to turn that into the same old conversation tonight. We're just happy we won today. I don't know why I'm saying night, but yeah, man, this is the day after, and we're very pleased. 104-101 win against the Golden State Warriors. So that's really my thought. I don't know if there's anything else to really share with you guys in regards to this one. Just wanted to come back here and rectify that field goal mistake, and you know, acknowledge that we did a good job of holding the Golden State Warriors to 17 points in the fourth quarter. That's something to be proud of. It's the lowest scoring quarter they had of that game, and I'm not sure, but they haven't had too many quarters where they scored less than that. I mean, you consider this is a team that gave us 2 back-to-back 40-point quarters, 2 back-to-back 30-point quarters in the same game. You love any quarter that you can hold them to just 17 points, especially the Golden State Warriors in fourth quarter situations. They could score 17 points in 3 minutes. We held them to that on the entire quarter. So little things that we can be proud of, little things that we're going to look at and say, if we continue to duplicate what it is that we were doing, we can beat this team again, and that's really what it is. So yeah, let's get this series over with as early as possible, man. I know Golden State's going to come with desperation, and Golden State being desperate is a serious thing, but I think they're beat, man. They're tired. They haven't had much rest since the beginning of these playoffs, to be honest with you. 7-game series then, and then this 1 day of rest each game. I just think life came with them really fast, to be honest with you. Just like I told you, I was still considering the fact that we had just gotten blown out by this team in game 2. It didn't feel like it's been too many days since then. And now we're up 3-1. I mean, this series just comes at you fast. So what I can tell you is the Los Angeles Lakers need to understand that it can come at them fast too. Just as quickly as we won these games, we can find ourselves in a game 7 just as quick, because there is only 1 day in between these games. So the whiplash that the Golden State Warriors are dealing with, having dropped these last 2 games, is definitely the type of whiplash we want to guard against going into game 5. We do not want to play extra basketball with these people. You know what I'm saying? And that's really what it comes down to. So I just wanted to get that point across, because that's something I was thinking about a little earlier as I was considering this game. Everything's happening really fast, and it will continue to. So if we drop game 5, you best believe game 6 is going to be coming so fast at us. You just want to make sure that you seize the moment, take every possession seriously, LA, because you've already put in enough effort to respect what it is that's needed to finish them off. So I say that we do that. Let's break this tendency just like we did in game 5 about everything, game 4 rather, And all the negative tendencies we broke and overcome to win this game, we're going to have to break those tendencies in Game 5 in order to overcome this series. We're going to have to approach these relaxing, lackadaisical, we can relax type tendencies with an intent that follows the work ethic of Lonnie Walker, so that we can go up there in the Chase Center, Golden State, San Francisco, and finish the Golden State Warriors off, effectively stifling them from defending their NBA championship trophy. So that's what it is. That's what I wanted to say, man. The Golden State Warriors aren't on our level this year, man. It ain't deeper than that, and it won't be deeper than that when we finish them off. So that's really what I got to say, man. Understand that we're at the realm, at the whim of Steph Curry making shots, and he could very well hit them on the road. So we must continue to be intent on doing all the things that we can control, including getting rest on our off days in between these games. So hopefully our team is doing that now, replenishing, refreshing, getting all set up for what will be a hellacious and desperate, intensely played Game 5 by the Golden State Warriors. They're desperate. I cannot stress this enough. They must win. Their backs are against the wall, and they're not used to this. They usually are on the other end of these type of situations. So we need to finish them off. LeBron James has lost enough series against these guys. He has earned this one by playing well, especially not turning the ball over very much. And it's time to honor him properly by moving on from Steph Curry, one of his greatest antagonists on the basketball court. If we can help him overcome them, that would go a long way, a very long way, I'm pretty certain. So let's do that, Lakers. You know, we don't have a history with the Golden State Warriors. He does. That's the reality of it. We don't hate them like that. He's been through wars and hell, and they've taken their lunch money, and they've taken his, and some dog knockdown, drag out fights. You know what I'm saying? We just kind of play this team, you know what I mean, here and there. We see him, whatever, it's cool, whatever. But this means something to this man, you know what I mean? Going up against this dude means more to him than we really understand, having not gone on that journey with him. Coming in 4 hours before each game, he really want to beat this dude. Let's just call it like it is. He want to keep Steph Curry from getting more rings than him. Steph Curry wants to get more rings than him. So Game 5 is everything for their legacies. Everything. So that's pretty much what I want to say, man. I don't know how many more playoff games we're going to get with LeBron James or Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and AD facing off against one another. This type of star power, this type of championship, legendary stuff going on. You just don't know, man. At the level they're playing at, let's seize this moment. If Game 5 is the last time we see those guys in the playoffs, let's get that moment captured in our minds and enjoy every second of it. Because this could be the end of Bron versus Steph. Could be. This could be the final chapter of that. So hopefully it ends with Bron on the top. And that's pretty much what I got to say as a Laker fan, man. My name is BDL44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.